I want to give everyone that permission and the opportunity to really live life to the fullest. And that means, yes, having great relationships. That means, firstly, self-love. That's one of the first things. We're in a prestigious job. We have a prestigious position where people can automatically trust us, which is fabulous. It's then knowing how to not misplace that trust and to really do ethical dentistry.
Sometimes I feel like my patients treat me as a psychologist and they come in for both a dental appointment and a therapy session, and stories that surface in the dental clinic, like you wouldn't even begin to imagine. Like you never know what the other end of the conversation, like what the other person is thinking or what that conversation or interaction you have with them can mean to them.
So you are absolutely shaped by the people around you. Mistakes. You're allowed to make mistakes. It is not failure. Mistakes are learning experiences.
Everyone don't like to be forced to change, but when we want the change ourselves, that's when growth happens.
You need to have stability in your personal life to have stability in your professional life.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Likeable Dentist. My name is Moon and I'm your host.
Hi, I'm Vicky Samios and I'm your guest speaker today. Hey Moon, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, Vicky is an award-winning entrepreneur, seasoned mentor, and leader in business and communication. She has a proven track record of transforming over 10,000 lives in more than 20 years. Her experience spans diverse industries, making her the go-to coach and consultant for professionals and businesses. Yeah, Vicky has a Bachelor of Pharmacy and Bachelor of Dentistry. So Vicky, you are dual qualified.
Sure am. You know how it is with careers. You hit a certain point in a career and you realize, you know what, maybe I'm made for something different, or you know what, I want a bit more of a challenge. And for me with pharmacy, it was fabulous, loved it, worked in hospital pharmacy at Westmead, worked in community all throughout my dentistry degree as well, because I was a qualified pharmacist. And it really helped me, absolutely helped. So any training, any qualifications that you get can absolutely support you through the next step that you take. And I don't want anyone to be scared of taking any next steps.
Yeah, that's excellent. All right, Vicky. So today we're going to dive in the topic of identity, which is a really big topic to touch on. We'll see how deep we can dive into the topic. But from what I know, you wear multiple hats in your life, right? On a work level, you are entrepreneur, you are a practice owner, and you do coaching. And I know you recently founded the Full Life Movement, and you also run retreats for dentists and other healthcare professionals who want to take their personal and professional life to the next level. In the family setting, you are a daughter, a mother, a wife, and you've got 3 beautiful children.
I do, absolutely do. I know it sounds busy, doesn't it? I do get sleep, I promise, because sleep is very important. You don't want sleep debt. Though I was up at 5:30 this morning, so I had a 6 a.m. call. So, look, life can get as busy or complicated or simple as you want to make it. And for me, I always follow my intuition, get the skills that I need. And yes, they had been many dental skills while I was a new grad, like a lot of you who may be listening. And I thought, I've got to go to this course. I've got to learn aligners, got to learn dental facial aesthetics. And a lot of the time we tend to compare ourselves to other people. And what I realized early on is that I run my own race. Comparison is the thief of joy. And I've read that in many books. It is so important to live in a way and present yourself at work, at home, as the same person, because our identity, yes, we wear hats, but we're the same person in all parts of our life. If we're different people, or we're pretending in front of a certain group of people, or we are acting a different way, that's when things start to feel out of whack or uncomfortable. And you think, well, why am I not feeling like getting up every day? Because I hit a point like that too. I've been a practice owner since 2011. I graduated within a year. I set up my practice from scratch. And I have done 2 others since. I've moved to the country. So I know the challenges that we face personally that our identity faces. Because, yeah, when you go to communities, whether it's in a country town or whether it's in a suburb, in a city, you've got a certain identity and there's a certain expectation of you as well. And this is in your professional arena. And in your personal life, you've got to show up, be present for your partner, find a partner for starters. I was at a point where I was so lonely and I thought, when am I going to meet my husband? Like, for me, I always wanted children. But career, because I'm fiercely independent, and that's the way I've been brought up, career took the lead, and that's just the way it happened for me. And if I had met my husband at 18, he would have been a teenager. Like, my husband's 5 years younger, so it wouldn't have worked. So things happen the way they're supposed to. And sometimes we try to make sense of things. And still to this day, like, I've had mentors, like I mentor a lot of people, I coach a lot of people as well, and I help them through their challenges, getting stuck with things, getting clarity about what their next moves are, how to grow their business, how to move in their career, shift careers, whatever it is to them, relationships. And I love talking to partners as well, because a lot of the time we have an identity crisis. I hit that. And when I told my mentor, do you know what he said to me? He goes, I know. I'm like, dude, I need more than that. So I sought more mentorship elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot to unpack there. I think you definitely come from a place of wisdom, after all your experiences over the years as well. Because quite often as a new or recent grad, we feel like when we are at work, we have to put up this different persona to who we actually are as a person. And, we have to be extra professional, extra patient. We may not be that patient in our normal selves at work versus we're at home. And the concept of identity can shift. And with technology these days and, emails, smartphone, WhatsApp group chats, it's very hard to disconnect from work because work follow us everywhere, right? We can receive a message at night or receive an email that's related to professional development. It's almost like we are tethered to our work in one way or another. And there are people who work from home these days. And for them, it's the boundaries are even more like blurred in a sense. And I think it's becoming a bit easier to have your authentic self in the different settings because the boundaries are a little bit more blurred. Like going back, 50, 60 years ago, people used to go to work and then come home and then work is done and left at work. But quite often people are doing their notes when they get home for the day, which I don't encourage, but that's something that I used to do, which I do not do anymore. But for a lot of, younger professionals, it's really hard because we want to give our 120% to the work that we do. And we want to just perform our best self, right?
Yep. Just remember that we are high achievers. So our 100% is someone else's 800%. Okay. And this is why we're in the industry we're in. We love to give it our all and we love helping people. At the end of the day, whatever we do, whether you branch off and coach people, because I know your love for mental health as well, Moon, however you're going to help people, you're going to do it your way. AI, there's two kind of schools of thoughts, right? AI is there to help us make life easier. And in a sense, yes, there are applications out there that will help you do your notes in no time. And I've got it in my practice. There are many out there. You can just Google and you can find them. I don't have an affiliation with any, but I know they're there and the tool is there for my team to use. Because for me, yes, I got stuck in that cycle as well, even 5 years out, 6 years out, 7 years out, where I was so busy back to back because, we're told, make your books busy, see as many patients as you can, no gaps, But sometimes you need that 5-10 minutes in between patients to finish your notes. That's the cleanup time. Like, that's when your nurse comes in and sets up. There's always something to do. And I know with being a great clinician, you've also got to take your patient out, whether it's you, like it's got to be the same person, the consistency all the time. Where I'm going with this is that you have control over how you practice. And your environment is always massive. So if you're not in an environment where your ethics are the same and they clash, you're going to have an incongruency there. It's going to feel like this isn't the right job for me or these aren't my people. And that can be hard as a new grad, particularly because what our even degrees have shown us, and I've been through some two tough degrees, right? Where you can't choose your subjects, whatever's given, you get like, and I really hate hearing this. Like I hear it at my daughter's dancing, you get what you get, you don't get upset. And I really disagree with that because it's really disempowering, young girls particularly. And they even
Mhm.
say that at schools, they go to private schools. And that my kids come and tell me, and I go, well, that's not what we believe. Okay. You don't just get what you get because that's how you shush people. But with our industry, we don't have a lot of choice, and we have all this red tape, which is great to keep people in line. I completely agree with that. But then you come out of university and you're told you either go into academia, you go work in a hospital, or you go work in private practice. And it's like, they're the three options. There are so many more options. How about the education space? How about supporting others? And you can do that as you get more experience. But where things get unstuck for me is where we're working and we just have to see those difficult patients who give us anxiety. We are forced to maybe do, um, as a general dentist, procedures that you're expected to be good at everything, when really we've got some talents in certain areas, but you're not in a position in your career to be able to choose and say, you know what, I'm really good at root canals, for example, and I've gone to CPD for that. And you know what? They come really easy to me and I really love it. And you can't just be doing root canals all day. Our boundaries are really important, personal boundaries, work boundaries. And unfortunately, we're taught to put up with the rude patients who tell us, I hate you all the time. You hear it, Moon. I'm sure you hear it. And they're like, not you personally, but I hate dentists.
Yes, I
I,
hate dentists. I hear that a lot.
I don't know any other professions that hear that, to be honest. Is it okay for them to go to their GP and go, I hate being here because you're going to give me a needle? Or I don't know, you're going to poke and prod me. No, they don't do that. They're actually happy to wait 45 minutes without being told that they're going to be running late. With us, different rules. We've got different rules to hairdressers, different rules to doctors. Different rules to hairdressers. You can rock up at your hairdresser. They won't tell you. They'll be like, what do you want to do today? And then they'll say, here's the bill, $600 later. If you're going to get foils, haircut, and you pay it. Whereas if we did that in dentistry, people question it. So the transparency is what we need, and the transparency with ourselves as well. So for you to feel authentic and happy in your job, there's a lot of things, a part of the recipe that need to really align with you. Firstly, you've got to be happy being in dentistry. And sometimes we'll stick with something just because we've spent X amount of years in that craft. When really you kind of knew from day one, and that's what happened to me in pharmacy, was really good at it. I could do it with my eyes closed, even went for hospital pharmacy for the challenge, still felt like I was trapped, particularly like having the pharmacy in the sort of lower levels of the hospital. And my escape was going up to the wards and checking the charts with my green pen. That's what we did. I don't know if anyone's worked in hospitals. You got specific pen colors for things, and you got to correct doctors, so you save their butt, right? And for us, it's all on us. The onus is on us. So how do you be your best version of yourself? How do you perform to your optimal best and be there for your family and for your patients and not leave the worst for your family? Because often we give the best of ourselves to our work. So when you get home, you've got no more energy left. And that's where I see a lot of relationships crumble. I even saw it as we were studying dentistry in my year. There were relationships where there was a dental student, a non-dental student dating them, and it just didn't work out because they didn't understand the perseverance and the sacrifice that it took to get to where we are.
Mhm. Yeah. Speaking of identity, I have a question for you, Vicky. How do you think we can construct our identity? For example, like we have social roles, the different hats that we wear, we have our own personal values, and there's also this external expectations that others can post on us or society can post on us. Do you think there is a core self, or are we just a collection of roles?
Well, I can go into that for a long time. Good question, Moon. Very good question. With our core self, we're always finding ourselves because we're always evolving as different versions of ourselves. But right now, what you all need, those who are listening, and how I could kind of figure out who I am, personal development is a really good way to figure out who you are. The thing that changed my life is when I became self-aware. What do I believe in? What do I want my life to look like? What does my life look like? What habits do I have? So habits are a big thing. What are my core values? Absolutely, values are huge, and they come from your childhood. They come from the people you hang around, but they also come from the people you're hanging around right now. So you are absolutely shaped by the people around you. There's something called Hebb's law. Cells that fire together wire together. So the people you hang around, you're going to be very like them. So if they're talking negatively, for example, and they're not productive, or they're not high achievers, or have no ambition, then that's going to rub off on you. And I also liken it to a punnet of strawberries. Let's say you have 3 strawberries, one's got mold. Sure enough, within 24 hours, the other 2 strawberries are moldy too. So who you hang around, your circle, and I call it the inner circle, is really important. For me, I was known as Vicky the dentist for a very long time. And my friends used to introduce me as Vicky the dentist. They didn't know that it kind of jabbed me in the heart sometimes, because I'm like, I'm more than a dentist. I actually have other hobbies and interests. I love languages, music, art. But a lot of that gets pushed aside when you're in a profession. You have to make sure that outside of work, you do follow your hobbies, you do keep healthy, you do have mental wellness. So my identity has shifted, and every day it's shifting. I'm constantly self-aware of, well, how do I need to show up today? How can I best show up? What tools do I need, and who do I need in my corner to allow me to show up as my best self? And to also get the life that I know that I deserve, because I've worked really hard. Like, I've had 3 practices. I mean, it's not easy setting up 3 practices. Would I do it now? No. I would totally buy into a practice, or buy a practice that has money coming in from the right at the beginning. That's not a sure thing. Your database is not all your database. People drop off. You get a percentage that drops off. But at least money's coming in right from the start, and you have a bit less stress.
Yeah, it's funny that you voice that little bit of almost like annoyed feeling when someone introduces you as Vicky the dentist. I used to introduce myself like, people ask me, what do you do? I would say, I'm a dentist. But these days, I don't say I'm a dentist anymore. I say I work as a dentist, in my day job. And I'm also studying a graduate certificate in mental health the side. So I'm sort of working part-time and studying part-time. And outside of that, I have hobbies as well. Like, I like singing, I like going out for hikes, spending time with my friends, going out for good food and stuff like that. So yeah, do you think that can we become too adaptable? And like, are there signs of someone that might be over identifying with one role? Like people who say, oh, I'm just a mom, or I'm only a dentist.
You know what? At the end of the day, you identify as whatever makes you happy.
Uh-huh.
Just know that if you choose one path, you're not stuck with it. There's evolution that happens. For me, yes, I'm many roles. I'm a mum, I'm a wife. As you mentioned, like, I'm a business owner, entrepreneur, I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, I'm a lot of things. But at the end of the day, the core business that I'm in is transforming lives. And we're all in this type of business. How do you transform lives? Is it through dentistry? Is it those conversations you have in the dental chair that you don't even realize you're coaching someone through? Because I don't know if you're like me, they come and tell you everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I've certainly had that happen to me. And it's almost like, it's funny, I just mentioned this in my previous episode of podcast, that sometimes I feel like my patients treat me as a psychologist, and they come in for both a dental appointment and a therapy session. And stories that surface in the dental clinic, like you wouldn't even begin to imagine, like, they have nothing to do with dentistry, and people are comfortable sharing that with you. Like, that shows a significant amount of trust, in my opinion, and that they feel comfortable enough with you to share those personal details with you. And I find that it's a really meaningful thing that we can provide for these patients. And especially for the older population, like I hear time and time again that they can be quite lonely sometimes. And coming to the dentist might be one of the very few social activities that they get to talk to someone. So you never know what the other end of the conversation, like what the other person is thinking or what that conversation or interaction you have with them can mean to them.
I always say that if a patient FTAs, for example, it's not that they don't want to be there. Yes, they may not understand the value of their health, and it's on the practice and the practitioner who hasn't demonstrated or explained the value of the visit, but you don't know what's happening in someone's life. Like for me, I had the last month where my son was unconscious in bed, scared. I'm scared to death. Like it is freaky. You don't know what's happening in people's lives, and you've got to get on with it. And where I'm going with this is that with patients, like sometimes we have a rock up in our practice and they just want to have a chat. They're local because you're part of a community. Everything's about community. You need to have your community around you. And your question about your identity, can you get stuck in it? Yeah, you could get stuck in it because some people, and most of society, especially like our parents kind of age group, prestige. We're in a prestigious job. We have a prestigious position where people can automatically trust us, which is fabulous. It's then knowing how to not misplace that trust and to really do ethical dentistry. That's what it comes down to, and be a person at the end of the day. And I don't know if you know, but I love Cialdini. Like Dr. Cialdini is the godfather of influence and persuasion. And you mentioned trust before. Likability, trust. People need to know, like, and trust you. For some people, and I know Moon, you're the same, it comes naturally where people can just trust you. And you're like, why? Why do people tell me all this stuff? And I always say, we should have had a psychology degree associated with dentistry. Always. I always say that's missing. We should have had a psychology component where we had a lot of training in that because we absolutely do coach people. That's our job. And that's how we get to understand and know people. And being in this beautiful position we're in to help people, it's our obligation to do our best and be our best. So if you're just in dentistry as a job or as a money-making thing, because I know back in the day, yeah, it was much more profitable. Okay, you got to work harder to get your clients and patients now. It's not just paid marketing that works. Word of mouth is still like the key thing, and that's my secret with all my practices. Having a community, immersing yourself in a community. But in order for you to do that, you need to know exactly who you are and where you stand in this world. And I might go a little bit kind of broad and kind of weird now. You need to talk about spirituality. Like business is spiritual. It's not just transactional. And once we realize and treat people like humans and like we want to be treated, you're winning. You're winning at everything in any relationship.
Yeah, I definitely think that with like sort of spreading the word and marketing these days, like affiliate marketing or like what you said, word of mouth is the most accurate way to get. I know a lot of people go on the internet and look at reviews and whatnot, but what someone else's experience may not be your experience. And we can talk about statistics all we want. But at the end of the day, let's say a root canal treatment has 95% success rate, but if you belong to the 5%, which it didn't work for you, that's 100% on you. And there's no ifs or ahs about it. So everyone's experience is different. And I almost feel like really sad that the media has portrayed like root canal treatment can fail for a variety of reasons, right? Just because it failed for your friend or mom or dad, it doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. And people are quite happy to just throw away that possibility of saving the tooth for extra 5, 10, 15 years or longer just because someone they know had a bad experience with it. So it's very powerful. Like, these when you hear a story from someone close to you or someone that you really trust, and you're quite willing to make decisions based on that person's experience precisely because you trust them. And it all boils down to this trust and having meaningful relationships that are built through effective communication, which is the crux of what my podcast is about and what the message that I want to share with the world. And with AI approaching and all that, there's a lot of uncertainty, like, what the future holds. I don't know, but I feel there will be a shift that people want to feel that human to human connection more than they have ever before, because we are so used to, like, we are connected, we are more connected than ever before, but we are also more disconnected than we have ever been before. We don't know our neighbors anymore. We don't see our kids playing with the neighbors' kids or just being raised by the neighborhood per se. And everyone is so to themselves these days. And like, I was just watching this video the other day and they were saying that with, Amazon and Uber Eats and food delivery and all that kind of thing, you can stay at home for like an infinite amount of time without leaving the house, without, necessarily seeing another human being. And that can be quite detrimental or have negative effects on our mental health and our well-being. Like, I remember that there were maybe days where I didn't leave the home for almost 3 days on a long weekend. And when I went out for a walk and just, taking the sights in, having green around my surroundings, that just made me feel instantly happier.
The scientific evidence is there. Immerse yourself in nature. So for so many years, I went into my practice, didn't see sunlight, left the practice, it was night. And I thought, what am I doing here? Is this all worth it? And we're all going to hit that point soon where you sacrifice your relationships. You don't go to birthday parties, even significant ones of your own parents. Okay. And I know people where you choose work or somebody else's agenda over what you really want. And the good news is we can actually have our life the way we want it. It's having that awareness and then having the people in your corner and then actually taking action and being held accountable. Because it's the accountability that people are missing. You could sign up to, let's say you do stay home for days, you could sign up to a Pilates program and never open it on your phone because something else comes in the way and there's no one else to say, hey, it's time. So where identity comes into everything is you have a choice. You have a choice to be who you want to be. You have a choice to surround yourself with who you want to surround yourself with, because we are just like the 5 people that we hang around. So who are your top 5 friends? Who do you hang around? Are they highly competitive? Is their energy positive? Or is their energy something that saps you? Or do they give you energy and you give them energy? And I'm not talking about just being happy all the time. Like, that's not realistic. We're all going to have things that happen to us. It's how we deal with them and who's around us to help uplift us. And also our mindset. I cannot skip mindset. Mindset is huge. If you don't know what mindset is, you need to absolutely know that your mindset governs everything, because everything we do, like 95% of our decisions, everything we think and do is unconscious. And Daniel Kahneman talks about system 1, system 2, like you can call it the unconscious brain and the conscious brain. So our prefrontal cortex, for example, is where our logical decisions happen. It's like a battery. It really depletes quickly. And that's where all our logical things and thoughts come in to keep us safe. And then we've got our unconscious brain, where an old system, I think they call it system 1, the unconscious in his book, okay, Thinking Fast and Slow. And in that, our underlying values govern our actions. Our decisions that we make rely on our values, rely on our emotions. And the secret to people buying into your vision, whether it's friends, where you're saying, hey, can we go watch this movie? And they're saying, why should I go watch this movie? We're influencing people. And there are lots of publications now. There's Forbes, there's the World Economic Forum, and influence and persuasion are in the top 10 skills that we need to have moving forward. And I also completely agree with you, Moon, that it's the human connection that we're going to miss with AI. And so that's where it's really important to make sure you are around people who are going to elevate your life, or it's a win-win-win for everyone. If you're around negativity 24/7, it's going to get you down. This is the same in work environments. This is the same, like culture. Work culture is super important. Because imagine if you had to go in somewhere and you hated being there. I've been there, even in my own business before, not because of the culture, because I was overworking and burnt out. It is very easy to lower your boundaries so much you don't even know what boundaries are anymore. So it's time to set rules. And you set your own rules. It's your life.
I like what you said about, like, it's not always about happiness, because I've read somewhere that friends who go through hardships together actually have a stronger friendship than people who only share good times together. And that's when growth happens, right? When we are that much, little bit, or much, not, hopefully not too much, out of our comfort zone, that's when growth happens. And everyone don't like to be forced to change. But when we want the change ourselves, that's when growth happens as well.
It's willingness and support and accountability. So it could be friends, could be coaches, could be mentors, whoever around you that helps you get to where you need to go. And the other thing that I think tends to die as you are more and more in dentistry, and probably as a health professional as well, is our creativity. Because of all of the burdens of paying bills, the responsibility. We're in a very responsible job. I always say we're in a very physical and mental job where the load can be as big or as little as you allow it. So I know earlier on in the podcast, in this session, you talked about taking work home. It takes conscious effort to really detach yourself from taking work home. So it's also about being more strategic and more organized in your day at work so you get your notes done. Yes, you might need to work on some treatment plans. Maybe it's best to rock up to work half an hour earlier the next day and just get them done then, rather than staying back till 8:30 p.m. and really having resentment towards yourself and then feeling guilt for missing dinner with your family. I've missed so many dinners with my family, you have no idea. I didn't even know when my daughter was going to swimming lessons, Moon, when I was working in this practice right now where I'm at. And if you had put a gun to my head and said, hey, where does your daughter go swimming? I could not tell you for the life of me because my brain could not handle any more pressure. It's a detail I didn't need because I was running my business and being chairside 24/7. So there's a way to run businesses. There's a way to operate where you can absolutely have that harmony in both your personal life and your work life. And at the end of the day, you're the same person, that identity, you're the same person in both, but you cannot behave the same if one is draining you. I don't know if you noticed, if you've had an argument with your partner, as much as you don't like it to affect you, people are going to start asking, what's wrong? Or you may not put your makeup on that day, or may not do your hair because you just feel like crap. So it does, as much as we don't want it to flow into each other, we are the same person, and our feelings and our emotions govern everything. So if you were to rock up to a day at work where you could potentially help people in a really beautiful way, but you hold back from actually charting things on a treatment plan and presenting them to your beautiful patients because maybe you've judged, maybe you think they can't afford it because your money beliefs are what they are, but because of the things you've experienced, your proof, the way you've been brought up, money doesn't grow on trees. It's going to absolutely affect your success in your career as well. So what is it that makes you fulfilled? And this is the full life movement. This is what it's all about. What fulfills you? What is your purpose on this earth? Let's say, what did God put us on this earth for? It is dentistry, yes, but it's also some other stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree with you. Yes, so Vicky, I would like to hear a little bit more about the retreat that you've got planned on, and also a bit more about your 5-day challenge. I know I've personally done the 5-day challenge with you, and it has helped me immensely. And I've got a lot of good nuggets, takeaways that I could apply in my own life, and I'm already seeing a positive change. I mean, you're part of the inspiration behind why I wanted to do this podcast in the first place.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm here to help many, many thousands of people, as many people as I can, in a way they don't even know yet. I started personal development about 5 years ago, and my world changed when I started digging deep within. And for me, I want to give everyone that permission and the opportunity to really live life to the fullest. And that means, yes, having great relationships. That means, firstly, self-love. That's one of the first things. The relationship with yourself has to be amazing so that then you can give from a full cup. Because if you don't love yourself, if you're constantly critiquing yourself, and yes, some of those voices in there could be a parent's voice or an experience you've had where someone's talked down on you and you've believed it. They're stories we tell ourselves. And then there's the other side, the flip side of things, where you go, you know what, is any of this true? And you start saying, well, who am I really? And what is my purpose on this earth? With my retreat, let's go there first. My amazing clients, because connection and community is my number one thing. So I'm here to create a shift, a movement. And this is not about leaving dentistry. This is about leaving old habits, leaving things that don't work for you in your life right now, and really evolving as a human, as a practitioner, as a partner, as a parent, as every part of you, of your identity, as I can say, so that you can really enjoy the things that you do. Because there may come a point where you go, you know what, this is not really making me happy anymore. And you've got to figure out, well, what's out of alignment. So it's about aligning yourself, about getting clarity about next steps. Maybe it is about making more money. Well, how do you make more money? Multiple income streams are a really awesome way. And I know you and I were talking in private earlier, Moon, and we were saying, you know, we heavily rely on the one skill we have. And we're like, okay, we'll get insurance. Great, you can rely on insurance if something goes wrong. But what if you could never return back to that job and that opportunity and your skills? And it does become like a mourning. You mourn. You will mourn a loss because that's part of your identity. Where to next? I don't want to be pessimistic, but things happen. And unfortunately for us, we have to, if we're clinicians, work in a particular set of four walls and have to turn up every day. We can't work from home. So how are you going to make life fun and amazing? Because at the crux of it, it's the fun. If you don't have fun, you're not enjoying work, you're not enjoying home. How do you instill fun in your everyday life? And this is where retreats come in. And last year I hosted my first ever retreat. I was told, don't do it. No one will come. It's nearly at Christmas time. You've only got like 4 weeks. Why are you like launching something now? You know what? I go with my heart. I knew there were people I needed to help and to give an experience for. And now I can't wait to host the next one. I can't wait for our 3-day online event, our Practice Mastery Certification, Moon. You have no idea what it's about and you fully trust me, right?
Yeah, 3 days is a big commitment, and it's like what 9 hours a day. Yeah, it's a big CPD for me. Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's about getting clarity. Next steps are huge. And one thing I do want to really stress to everyone listening, mistakes. You're allowed to make mistakes. It is not failure. Often because we're such high achievers and high flyers, we worry about what will our parents think? What will our partner think? What will my peers think? I can't be seen to reach out for help or to fail at something. It's never failure. Let's flip that. This is where growth mindset comes in. What do I need to learn from this experience? What have I learned? Because we don't want to be repeating mistakes. That's when you become silly. That's when you're crazy, you know? Mistakes are learning experiences. Have I made mistakes? Yeah. I'm sure, Moon, you have too. Like, that's how we learn. I remember first starting dentistry. I was worried about bubbles in my composites. So what did I do? I'm like, I need to go and do some CPD on this because I don't know what's going on. Is it my materials? Is it my technique? And then all of a sudden, because I went and got the quick way there, I didn't have that problem anymore. So if you want to solve something, you've got to have the people in your corner. So this is where my beautiful 5-day freedom challenge comes in. It's about getting, like, I believe in the 5 freedoms, and you'll learn about the 5 freedoms when we chat. And one of my freedoms is location freedom. Obviously, financial freedom is a big one. That's one of the big promises that we get going into dentistry. And then we get in and then your books are empty. You got gaps. You're like, how do I build my books? I was promised See, working for someone, I was promised to have full books. Why are people not rebooking with you? As you said, Moon, communication is key. Connection and communication is key. And I call it like a recipe. There are a lot of ways to get to where you want to go. There are more direct ways. There's your own path, right? You can do things alone and you can take the long path, like what I do with practice ownership, because I didn't have a mentor. And this is why I mentor people now. And I'm like, cool, fire away. I've got answers for everything. You need help? Let's go. And also the life coaching I absolutely love because they go hand in hand. It's not separate parts of your identity. You need to have stability in your personal life to have stability in your professional life. So I want to invite those of you who are up for having a chat, and it's not 9-hour days, right? It can be, right? If you choose to go further with me, let's do it like Moon has. But it's half an hour for 5 days. Could be 3 to 5 days, right? And we work it within a week or 2 weeks because the closer you do it together, you get momentum. Because I want to see you make some shifts and you get a lot of aha moments. And I know, Moon, you had some, and I can't even, like, there's so many of my beautiful clients who say, oh my gosh, Vic, I didn't realize this. I'm here as your kind of like fairy godmother, your voice of wisdom, whatever you want to call me. Because, yeah, I've got training in neuro leadership, so brain-based coaching. I know how to rewire your brain to new habits, how to set you up for success. And I want you to win. I genuinely believe there is room for everyone to succeed, abundance. And this is why when I've gone into business partnerships, for example, or align myself with businesses and I've realized something's off, I've pinpointed exactly what I do agree with, what I don't, and whether I choose to continue to align myself with that or them. So as you think of yourself more and more, setting yourself up to win, what does it take? Yeah, we want more money because more money helps you help more people and it helps you help your family. I know I want to help my parents in retirement. I'm not just doing whatever I'm doing for myself. I'm doing it for my legacy, for my kids, and for past generations and the future generations to come. You can break the cycle, whatever this cycle is. Hard work does not mean sacrificing every part of your being. And I'm here to tell you the Full Life Movement is in full swing, and my amazing community are all part of it, including you, Moon. So I will support you always, always. Because I know Moon has a massive message to share. A lot of people to help Moon. I know that.
Yeah, thank you for holding me accountable with my exercise goals as well. Yeah, it has been great. I actually connected with Paru the other day, and it's been really good. And she basically said we could chat for hours. Like I could talk to you for hours. There's just so many things that we can relate, and we will probably make really good friends in real life. Yeah.
It's really special. Again, just like with the retreat, I had an idea. I'm like, I feel really lonely in dentistry, right? And I did for many years. Dentistry can be very isolating, not because I was in the bush. I was in the city, like for my other 2 practices. But our work hours, the constant competition of striving to be better and better, and this perfectionism, which we never reach because it's a fake thing. This imposter syndrome, there's so much I can talk about. It all comes down to you really having your community around you. Moon, these are our people. And I've just been blessed with, because I know the ideas don't just come to me, God helps me. And I'm blessed to have such amazing people around. And you are all friends. Absolutely. And you come from different parts of the world. You didn't know each other before this, but you said yes to yourself by coming on the challenge with me. And that's where your world is shifting right before your eyes. Dentistry can be fun. Just do it your way.
Yeah. Actually, had a friend ask me, like, whether you want to go in the direction of mental health or dentistry. And I told them exactly this, that I'm happy to do both at this stage. And if there comes a point in the future where I have to decide, like I would go in the direction of where I can make a bigger impact. Say, for example, if I could motivate 100 dentists to find fulfillment in their career and they stay in dentistry for 10 years longer. To me, that's a more meaningful use of my time than if I were to stay in dentistry for 10 years longer myself.
Yeah, you've got a journey. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
at this point, like I still enjoy doing clinical dentistry and I'm more than happy to keep doing that in the capacity that I can. And, of course, it helps pay the bills and provide for my family, which is also important. Um, and I just genuinely enjoy the relationships that I get to build with my friends. And I've been at a practice for long enough now that I feel there's a relationship and, it's them coming back every 6 months or even every 12 months and we get to catch up and talk about things that are happening in their life, things that are happening in my life. And I live in a regional town, so like the community feeling is a lot stronger than if let compared to a big city. You would understand. Yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to what this space holds and what is in the future that is to come. Yeah, I'm really excited for what's to come. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to your 3-day mastery course as well.
Yeah. The world's your oyster, and I know that's an over cliched, overused thing, but as clinicians, we tend to think, oh, these are the cards I'm dealt with. I'm just going to put up with it. And that was me for a period of time. I chose to have a practice. This is all my fault. I've got to deal with it. No. Okay. I've set up, sold, set up, sold, set up. I'll probably sell at some point. Okay. It's about being in alignment. And once you're in alignment, things happen easy. So if you're pushing yourself in a certain direction and you're just doing aligners, for example, because all my friends have learned aligners, or you're going, hey, I have to learn implants because everyone's doing implants. Something you mentioned earlier, like I'm a firm believer, there's nothing like your original teeth you're born with, right? They're not designed to last forever. However, there's no excuse now in our generation, and I know with all the sugar and all the packaged products and processed food and whatever else is going on in our diet that's changed our habits, but we also have really good habits we can instill because AI is helping us. Everything's online. We have every opportunity to keep our teeth right to the end, to the day that we leave this earth. So for me, I've always had the issue with, you know what, if someone goes to an implant, they've lost their teeth probably because of periodontal disease. How's the implant going to last if they haven't handled that periodontal disease? We've got a whole microbiome in our mouth, and we call it dysbiosis when it's out of whack. And I was very fortunate enough to be introduced to that. And so that's now in our practice as well. Then once you look at the mouth, you look at the gut, it's all connected. So start to get curious about how can you do dentistry better? How can you help people more and make a greater impact? It goes beyond drilling and filling.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm a firm believer that health professionals need to talk to each other more because we need to treat the body as a whole and not in all these different compartments because they are all linked. Like you said, it's the person and physical health, mental health, they're all linked and one affects the other. And there's a lot more connections that we don't yet know, but they are there.
Yeah, there's a lot we don't know, and science can't explain everything. Like the power of energy, for example. Yes, um, there's like an invisible force around us. How many times have you walked in a room or had a patient in your chair who's so negative Nancy you knew just by like walking in the room, like their energy feels off? So there's a lot of scientific stuff because we're very scientific people, but we're also creative on the other side of our brain, on the right side. And you've just got to tune into your body and the intuition. And I think it's so important we often forget our real thoughts and feelings that we don't actually listen to our body, and then our body gets sick. We get back pain, we get aches, carpal tunnel, like me too. And then you start to get brain fog, and you start to go, "What's wrong with me? Why am I feeling unwell?" So surround yourself with habits and people that will help you. I think that's the biggest message I want to give you. You have every chance to change your identity or to improve it, to become that next level of yourself. And there are people like Moon and myself out there to help you do that. Just reach out for help. It's okay to ask for help. It's not taboo to ask for help and get a coach and get a mentor. You're not expected to be born knowing everything. I wasn't born knowing everything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
it's actually a sign of strength to be able to ask for help. And finding the right group of friends or your inner circle that you can share not only your struggles with, but also your success with. Like that's also very important and very validating for one's self-worth, as I've come to realize. And sometimes the friends we can share our success with without worrying that they're going to get jealous or make them unhappy, like that speaks volume of the friendship as well. You know, someone that can be truly genuinely happy for your success and for your achievements.
You want to hang around people who have an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset.
Yeah, well said. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Vicky. If you want to get in touch with Vicky or find out more information about the 5-day challenge or the retreat, we'll post a link below where you can contact her. And as always, you can send us a direct message or any feedback by emailing us at info@thelikeabledentist.com.au. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. See you for now.
Bye.